Well, hey there, it's Jen.
And Elke, welcome back to the Jen and Elke Show, where we love talking about print on demand, marketing and strategy that you can use to create wealth in your life. And today is a really important video that you definitely need to watch all the way to the end, because we're going to show you, first of all, how we would start a print on demand store in 2026, what platform we would choose, how we would go about it, and make it not 6 hours, which is what a lot of people are doing, in terms of just getting you started so that you can start today. And that is the biggest objective today. So let's get started with that. And we're going to show you a lot of information. So stick around, take notes, and let's go all the way through.
Okay, so our first little banner topic here before we get into actually the technicalities of everything is what print on demand platform should you be using? There are so many different print on demand platforms out there. Utilizing Etsy, for example, that's the big one that everybody knows about. So you would use Printful or Printify to create an Etsy store and use their fulfillment platform like print on demand as your hub, let's call it that. And then Etsy would be where you would sell your products. There's Spoonflower, there's Cafe Press, the Society 6, Minted, the list goes on. There's a whole bunch of them. Specifically, we are choosing Zazzle. We have chosen Zazzle since 2008, and we have been coaching students to help them make money online with Zazzle since 2016 and end of 2016, beginning of 2017. We have helped our students collectively who have actually given us the data. Not everybody actually has told us what their sales are. We've helped our students collectively sell over $165 million worth of Zazzle products on the platform. Elke and I have sold over $15 million in Zazzle products personally, like us combined. And so we know what we're doing, okay? We love talking about Zazzle. We talk about it every single day. And so the reason why we chose Zazzle, particularly over Etsy, because Etsy is the big one that everybody knows about, is because it's the all-in-one platform. It's completely free for you to sign up. You don't have to pay for listings. Zazzle takes care of shipping, handling, customer service, printing, the manufacturing. They create relationships with new product developers often. They do internal and external marketing for you. So everything is all on that platform. It has a really robust design tool. So you don't even need to have a Photoshop program or use even Canva. Those are big names, or Kittl, like things that online that you can utilize these graphics creating programs to create these images that you might want to sell. I know Etsy is very much where you need to create something particularly on Canva or on Kittl and make a design really look nice. Zazzle has this really robust design tool. That's not even necessary if you don't want to or need to. And I'll show you exactly that in my little tutorial that I'm going to be showing you in a minute. Okay, so Etsy is a really great platform because it's more worldly known. However, it does have some things that Elke and I decided that it's not really for us. We don't want to pay for listings. We don't want to pay for advertisement. We don't need and want to have all of these working components, hooking up a store to your Etsy store and then using Printful or Printify and doing all those links. Like there's a lot of steps that are involved when creating products with Etsy, and Zazzle is the all-in-one. Zazzle offers over 1,500 product design types and styles. It's more in like the 3,000 range if you're including all the different shapes and sizes of paper and different mugs, for example. And so we absolutely love it. They have so many products that you can choose from. And it's not just mugs and t-shirts. When everybody thinks about print on demand, they right away, for whatever reason, go to those two things. Zazzle has skateboards. They have backpacks. They have yoga mats. They have water tumblers. They have matchboxes. Like the list goes on. There's so many amazing, really cool, fun products that you can create. They even have honey jar labels, okay? Honey jars with honey inside them. So Zazzle offers really cool things that you can definitely play around with. So today in this video, we are going to be talking about how to, first of all, set up your account, how to start selling on Zazzle, and then understanding how to do some research to figure out what you can start to post for sale and understanding your niche. And then we're going to show you how to post your first product for sale and what that looks like using the design tool. So let's dive into the beginning here, and I'm going to share my screen. So first of all, Obviously, if you have not started a Zazzle account, or maybe you already have, maybe you've already opened up an account and have your own store. So this first part of this video might not be pertinent to you if you already are on Zazzle. But if you aren't on Zazzle, because this whole video is called How to Start a Print-on-Demand Store in 2026 with his step-by-step mini course, is we're going to start from the beginning because that's what we do, right? And so first of all, you're going to go to Zazzle.com, and I know you can't see my URL here, but it's Zazzle.com/sell, okay? And irrespective of that, you can go on to Zazzle.com, and if you're not logged in, which I am right now, so you can't actually see the version of what it would look like if you were logged out, but there's a button on the homepage. So this is the sell site. There's a button on the homepage that would be located around here that says sell on Zazzle, okay? And when you click on that button, you're going to come to this page, Zazzle.com/sell. And then what you're going to do is you're going to click this button here that says sell on Zazzle. And what that's going to take me to, because I'm already logged in, I can open up a Zazzle store. What this is going to happen for you if you have not created a Zazzle account yet, because there's two different things. You have your Zazzle account, and then you have stores in your account. The account is where all of the money transactions happen, where all the information is collected in the back end, and that's where you log in with your email, okay? So it's going to prompt you on that page. Once you click this button here that says sell on Zazzle, it's going to prompt you to put in an email address that's working, and also prompt you to put in a password. Okay. And that's going to be your login to log into your account on the Zazzle platform. Once you click that, like I said, this pops up for me. So once you put in your email and your password and you create your account, then it's going to prompt you to open up a store. Okay. And so you're going to then come to this page here that says open up a Zazzle store. And then you're going to put in your name. So anything that you would like. This is where some research or thinking in the background is going to happen first before you click that create store button, because this is going to stick with you for the rest of your Zazzle journey. You can technically change your Zazzle store's name if you would like. However, the URL of that store that you create when you click that button here is going to always stay the same. So as a fun little example for you, when I first started out in 2008 on Zazzle, I created a store called Jen Clarke 78. And that store still exists. You can go and look it up. It's got some really crazy, funny products in there, because you can tell my beginning of my Zazzle journey was not really the greatest. I was just floundering and I had no idea what to post for sale. So I also, coming to the point of the story, is that I was thinking that it was like a username or something like that. Okay. I didn't really put very much thought into my store name. I thought that coming from, the world of Gmail and the world of Hotmail and the world of creating all of these like sub accounts kind of like on Facebook or myjournal.com, or I don't know what else was around at that time, AOL, right? It was the usernames that were something that people really understood. So Jen Clarke 78 was my first store's name. And then I quickly realized that didn't have any, meaning to it. Okay. It didn't make sense to anybody. When someone came to my store, for sure they knew my name, but why did I have a random number in there? So think about how you would like your store name to look like, whether that be your personal name, because you are the designer, or if you are creating a store name, for example, and this is one of my stores in this account here that I have, Pretty Prince Studio, which means that it's probably more or less giving you the vibe of, okay, it's going to be all about printables or printing or invitations or something. Okay. So Pretty Prince Studio, and please don't use that name. And you're not going to be able to anyway, because it's already taken. Once you put that name in there, for example, it's going to tell you, sorry, it's not available. And I know it's not available because that's actually one of my store names in this account. So if I wanted to change that to be something different, then you would have to start typing in something. Okay. And I recommend I would highly recommend not using underscores or numbers. Make it all fluid, okay? And please don't use any name that's associated with an already existing business. We teach our students to go to the copyright website for the United States, which is TESS, where you can search a name and it will come up with information about if there's a possible conflict of a store name that you've chosen. For example, you're not going to put in the word Walmart here, okay? That makes no sense. And even if it isn't available, and I don't know if somebody actually has a store called Walmart, but that's not what we're we're doing here. You're going to create your own store name regarding your own feel and aesthetic of what you want to have in your store. Okay. So you can get creative. It can be something completely abstract. Like there are some names on Zazzle that are random words put together, but they sound really cool. And it comes out more like a really chic sort of urban name for a store. Or some people literally use their own name and then they say artistic creations or designs at the end of it. Okay. Once you figure out your store name, then you're going to click that button that says I'm not a robot, and then you're going to create your store. Okay. I'm not going to do that process with you because I don't need to create another store. And I highly recommend only creating one store at the moment. Okay. And don't be over the top like I was when I first started out. I have probably, I want to say, in the range of 30 stores that I created in my account at one point, because I thought that I was going to open up a store for every single type of product that I wanted to sell. So for example, I had an iPhone case store. I had a t-shirt store. I had a party supply store. Okay. And literally all of those things, like the product types, were in the store name. And so I don't recommend that you do that. That gets overwhelming. I didn't touch any of those stores. I think I had one that I kind of played around with for a bit, but then I decided, okay, I need one store that I'm going to focus in on and work with because everything else is overwhelming. So if you're thinking to yourself, because maybe you're watching this video and you've never opened up a print on demand store before, you're like, I just need to have t-shirts in my store and I want to call myself the t-shirt gallery, which is literally one of my stores. So you won't be able to use that name either. But the t-shirt gallery, if you put that in, then now you're only limited to t-shirts. And also I highly recommend that that's not your business plan, because to make a significant amount of money on the Zazzle platform, you have to sell more than just t-shirts. Okay, for example. Excuse me. All right, now getting on to the next thing. So once we've done that, now we're able to start posting for sale. Okay.
Can I just interrupt her for a minute?
Yeah.
Take a minute for, okay, so what Jen just did was walk you through the mechanics, and she gave you examples of, what to do and not to do. But the whole point of this is that you have to start not just thinking this is going to be a one-off where you're going to sell something and it's going to become $1 million bestseller. This is a store brand name. And one of the things that's really important is to think about what it is that you're going to put in that store and how you're going to develop your business. And that's what a lot of people forget. Like, it's easy to do the mechanics. Jen, we're showing you, but Jen didn't need to show you. It's online, it's free. This is free. But the key, which is the big important part, is do the research, ask yourself how you can marry together your skill sets, what you're interested in, and also what is currently popular, so that you do one of those like Venn diagrams where you take your interest, what's your skill sets, and then what's trending in an area that could overlap, so that you come up with your sweet spot. And then that would be how you decide what your store name is, what your brand looks like, etc. Because in this day and age, with everybody, also doing what you're trying to do here by setting up a print-on-demand store, is you have to be different than the other people, right? You can't just be a t-shirt store, like t-shirt gallery. It has to be, a brand like Jen Clarke Designs, rather. So that's a brand. T-shirt gallery maybe can become a name, a home name, like a well-known name, but it's not going to have the same oomph in terms of a brand, which is really important for you to get going. And as Jen said, you can change the name of your store, but make sure that the name means a lot in terms of what it is that you're trying to put together to build that know, like, and trust factor, which is going to get someone to buy from you compared to someone else. And that's super, super important.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yes, definitely. Okay. So next thing that we want to talk about is understanding a research method that works. And we're not going to dive too deep into this because there are so many different niches that you can get into on the Zazzle marketplace. At the time of this recording, they are showcasing graduation. So if this banner looks different and or has changed since you've watched this video, then you understand that they update their banner obviously based on what is selling throughout the seasons, selling each month. what they want to promote, etc. Okay. And so doing proper research is, I would suggest, first of all, just go in and search on the Zazzle platform. Here they have all of these tabs here at the top where they can, you're seeing the different product types, first of all, that are being sold on Zazzle, but then these are also product types that you personally can make. Once you go to create your own, which I'll go to in a second, then you'll see the blank templates that you're able to use. But once you click on any of these are all products that people have made on the Zazzle platform as designers like yourself and me, okay? And so please do not copy. Whenever we showcase the Zazzle platform and we say, go and research within a specific niche, what's selling, what designs, what trends, which product types, that's not us telling you to go copy. It's us telling you to do the proper research to figure out how to actually compete within that marketplace by making it uniquely your own, okay? So for example, there are certain niches like office and school or business. Then we have invitations. You can see that we have wedding invitations, baby shower, birthday, RSVP cards. All of these things are certain niches that you can get into. Then we have, where do I want to go here? Home and living. There's home decor. So whatever you feel like you would like to start to create in, that's your own prerogative. And that's where you have to do the due diligence to do your own research, because I can't sit here for hours and hours diving into each and every single one of these product types, because it's just too much, right? And so the the generic answer I'm going to give you for the product research is figure out what is in demand right now and do not copy, okay? And make sure that
the things that we can help you get a little bit closer in terms of what's in demand is that every niche has in-demand products. So it's really one of the things that we learned when we first started out was we thought we always had to compete with whatever Zazzle was promoting. Like, for example, right now at this recording, they're promoting graduation. And if we don't have graduation invitations or whatever, something for graduates, then we thought we were missing out. But what we teach, and this is what the reason that we became so successful, is that you can do two things. You can chase the trends, you can chase the seasonal products, or you can do what we call it as evergreen. And most print-on-demand big gurus right now that are teaching how to do this on Etsy are like now just discovering, ooh, we should do evergreen products because that way, you're going to sell all the time. And it's like, we've been doing this since we started on print on demand in 2008. And also we started teaching in 2017, 16. And so that is the secret, is to not always chase the trends. You can get into the trends, but if you want to create a long-term, consistently generating consistent revenue generating store, you've got to have evergreen products. And that's why our print-on-demand course that we teach in great detail and take you through a whole month to show you how to set up 100 products in your store that you can repeat and use over and over again. Though that's based on our evergreen strategy. And then if you get good at those, that's your base income. And then after that, you can start to tap into all these little seasonal things or not, because you don't have to. Jen and I made a lot of our money without tapping into all these seasonal products. So every single product on the platform can be a bestseller. You just have to decide where you have your skill sets and your interest in learning the research as to what it takes to create that intentional product that is going to be a seller in that niche. That's where you start, okay? And then you can get better elsewhere.
Yes, definitely. Okay. All right. So that being said, once you do your research, then you're going to go and once again, I just want to say, for example, like we are going back to these tabs here at the top. This is where you go to the create your own. These are all links to certain sorts of where it's designers products being showcased. Okay. So for example, if we go to invitations and stationery, and or click the graduation announcements here, or even just go to the shop now. Each one of these products that's showcased is a designer just like you. So it's really cool because you as the seller can do customer research by what Zazzle is marketing and what they have on each of their landing pages, okay, and understanding the certain types of themes and product variations that are being showcased within each of these categories, okay. So cards and invitations, clothing and shoes. So on the seller side of things, this is where you're going to do your research. This is where people come to buy, okay? And so customers who are not designers are going to see this work being posted for sale. If you wanted to get to those blank products, now we're going to go to create your own. And remember, I'm logged in, okay? And we have had some people in our community who have been like beginner students start to make some really great designs and then realize that they're not logged in, because this create your own button is available also for customers. And so customers who have not logged in yet or haven't created an account can actually create their own products if they wish to do so. And then they have the buy option at the end. But if you're not logged in and all of a sudden you've created this really great design and you can't, there's no option for you to sell it, unfortunately, there's no way for you to take that design and actually use it again. You'd have to create it once again while you're logged in. So make sure that you see the little bubble there with your profile picture or the icon saying that you're logged in to make sure that you don't, waste time. Here we're going to go to the create your own, and this is where you can see all of the products that Zazzle offers. You can see that when I scroll down here to view all products, there's over 3,000 results, okay? That doesn't mean that there's 3,000 individual different product types. There more or less is, but for example, they have different sizes of invitations, they have different sizes of address labels, and so those sizes and styles of a specific product type are also included in this number. However, it's really amazing that it's at 3,000 and above because that's giving you an awesome opportunity to choose which products you want to sell. And they have, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, so many different product types that you wouldn't even imagine to think about. Like, for example, skateboards, they have clocks, they have honey jars, you have baseballs, footballs, they have basketballs, you have anything to do with home decor. Like, the list is endless almost. So you can just have fun even exploring the different categories here to see what product types are involved within each of those, or you can literally go through and scroll down through 3,000 results and see what product types are there. It's best to use the search button and or the categories, because this search down at the bottom it's very unorganized. There's no rhyme or reason to it, but you can also refine by category here as well to see the different types. You can refine by price or product color, or you can add your own filter right here, change the different things. So,
and one of the things that's kind of cool is, I didn't realize this, maybe they've been there all this time, but we never scroll down very much. But if you just scroll up a little bit, it actually gives you new products, but it also tells you what the best selling products are.
mm-hmm.
So you do have a little bit of help from Zazzle, and pick one of those if you're really stuck. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Which is really neat. And so even at the time of this recording, we have some new cell phone cases. We have that's really cool, a retractable pet leash. We have air fresheners. Then there's the bar toppers, wind chime. What's this one? Sheer curtains. Like, so many cool things, okay? And so even just exploring this list as well as the best-selling list can help you get an idea of what you would like to post for sale. So,
and that brings us back to what I said earlier, is it's not all product based. You can actually then get more specific with your niche and your target audience by what it is that you're offering, so that you can serve the customer, so that it's not just about, oh, I've got it on all 1,500 product types that Zazzle offers, because that's a waste of your time, and then it's just clogging up the Zazzle platform. The most important thing is to say, okay, I have this idea and I want to serve the customer this way. And then you go check to see, well, what does that mean? Like, what colors do I have to use? What saying do I have to use? Do I have to have a photo? Do I have to have text? And that's when you get specific with your niche, and that's how you're going to narrow it down so that you can serve customers at the same level, not just go like, I have all these cool designs that I generated with AI, so I'm going to slap them on everything. That's not the business strategy that's going to work.
Yeah.
As much as people keep telling us that that might be the way to go of the future, but it's not. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to choose my product, and I've decided to choose a pillow for the purpose of this little mini design tutorial. So
Change
like
the banner before we get started, and because it still says research method that works. Yeah, we're further along.
oh, sorry here. How to
Yeah.
post your first product for sale. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now we are here. I've chosen my pillow, and you might have seen some changes recently on Zazzle. So on the customer side of things and also on the designer side of things, there is a change in the design tool. They've upgraded their technology, so it's different than what it was previously. And so if you're brand new, then that has no effect or change on you, which is great because then you're learning from what's existing of the technology now. If you have been on the Zazzle platform in previous years or even in the past month, you might see some differences. And so we have a really great tutorial on how to go through the design tool in addition to this, but we're going to go and also show you what I basically showed you in that video. So there might be some overlap, but then there also might be something different that I mentioned in the other video if I didn't think of it today, or vice versa. So on our YouTube channel, you can definitely go and see that because it's very much well worth it to get yourself oriented with the new design tool. So what I'm going to do now is click personalize this design. Here I can choose obviously what the different style is. And for example, with the pillow, we have different options in terms of what the fabric is, and also if it is zipperless or cotton or outdoor. This will obviously change if you choose a mug or a t-shirt or a skateboard even, okay? And I mentioned skateboard a couple times. It's quite funny because I don't sell skateboards myself. But depending on the different style and type that Zazzle offers, you can choose that here. It will also prompt you to double check this before you actually post your product for sale, okay? And here's where you can also change the sizing of the pillow. So once you choose an original product type, as a pillow, for example, then you're given the option to choose different styles or sizes depending on that product type. I'm just going to choose my normal product here. That's the 16 by 16. It's the least amount of money. I like to post the products for sale actually with less upgrades in my store, so that if somebody wants to buy an upgrade, then they can do so by choosing themselves to add more money onto their order. But in order for me to compete within the marketplace, I like to make it the least expensive product possible. For example, though, with the pillow here, because this lumbar pillow is a completely different size, and this will also translate into, let's say, for example, what other product do I want to choose here? A gift box. The gift box is actually very important as well because there's so many different sizes and styles of the gift box. We have a takeout style, we have a square style, we have the little handle style of a gift box. And so each and every single one of those, if somebody wanted to buy that different size or style, then the product design completely changes. And same with this one here. So if I originally designed on this square version and then somebody wanted the lumbar version, the product design is going to shift. And so I highly suggest that you make the different styles as well when it's necessary, that they can't easily just choose an upgrade or a downgrade based on what you originally chose, okay? So we're going to start designing. And so we're going to open up the design tool, and you can see that this is the new version. Hopefully, fingers crossed that they don't do very many upgrades. And this is like the last upgrade that they do because we've done a whole tutorial on how to go through this. But this area here is where you are able to design. And the green dotted line is your safe line. And then you have this line that says we will attempt to print this entire area inside this line. And then obviously this is outside the print area, okay? This is where you can see your different settings for toggling, like let's say, for example, your grid lines. I personally like to design without them because I get distracted with this sort of grid on top, but Elke likes to design with those on because then it shows you where things are positioned and gives you basically a ruler so that you can tell, if something is if you've got multiple different elements and you wanted them to be equally spaced from the side or equally spaced in the middle. There's also something here called snapping. And this means that once you have an element in here, it will snap to the middle, center, it will snap to the middle, and or if you have certain things in alignment, but like on the side here, different layers, then you can snap those designs together and it will just give you like a little, a nudge, let's call it that, to show you, and a line will appear to show you that you're in the middle. And I'll showcase that in a second. This is where you have your option to add text. You can add an image, you can add a background, you can add elements with shapes and also frames. I'm not going to go too deep into that, so that's why I suggest you watch the other design tutorial where I actually go step by step and show you each of these things. Icons, stay away from them and don't add any background images that are offered here. Those are all for the customer only. As a designer, if you try to use one of these images for a background or one of these icons, then unfortunately your sell button will be grayed out and you won't be able to post it for sale because it's copyrighted material. I don't know why they offer those things. It's beyond me. They've offered them for ages. And so just be very wary, because you might design a really cool design with a really cute dog clip art, and then this is incorporated in your design, and all of a sudden you get to the end and you can't post it for sale and you've wasted your time. Okay. So just stay away from those. I'm going to add an image, and I've chosen this little doggy here, and I'm going to add some text here, and I'm going to say Charlie.
And if Jen hadn't had that already in her library, it would have just, you also could just upload an image.
Yes.
At the same time. Yeah.
Sorry. Yes. I went over that really quickly. So if you're a brand new beginner, obviously, and clearly you will not have these images. These are my images. And you probably won't even have any images in your media library here. Okay. So what you're going to do is either upload from your computer or from your phone. You can also search for images. So I highly recommend remembering or naming your images with a specific keyword so that you can easily search for the word dog, for example, and then all of your dog photos will show up, because once you start uploading a lot of images, then there's going to be a huge database of them in there. And if you made the mistake like I did when I was younger, all of my images were named random numbers, and it was like image 3, and I don't know what image 3 looks like. And so I literally had to scroll through all my images to try and find something that I liked. Okay. And just on a topic of that, Elke and I either purchased these images or we got these images from a copyright or royalty-free website, and then we are able to use these for print on demand. Obviously, we are not selling this actual image. We are using it as a template or a placeholder image for someone who is going to replace this photo for their own dog, okay? Because I really like that this dog is very, very cute, but I have my own dog, and I'm not going to buy a pillow with this picture of this dog on it because it's not my dog, okay? So that being said, make sure that you own your images or get them from royalty-free websites. This also being said, do not take images from Google that include any copyrighted material. People think sometimes for whatever reason that they can just go to Google and search the word Disney and then take pictures of Disney characters or Marvel characters or even celebrities and put them up on products. Even though you got the image for free, technically, because you found it on the internet, doesn't mean that you can post it for sale. Your store or your product will be taken down, and that you will be flagged as having copyright material. Okay. And please don't copy this design either. You know, it's funny. I've had some tutorials that I've gone through and done, and literally someone has taken my designs, and they're even the most simplest designs. I designed a cell phone case with the word hello on it, and somebody in the tutorial, it was actually a paid tutorial, it wasn't free on YouTube, someone in there submitted a thing of homework with my own actual design on it. Okay, so be creative and make your own design. This is just for tutorial purposes to show you all of the different steps. It's not so that you can take this and then post this exact same product for sale. Okay, all right. So we've got our photo and we have our text, and this is what I want as my the basis of my my product that I'm going to make. You can add different layers at different times. You can have multiple different layers. You don't only have to have a photo and also text. You can have graphics, but just to make this an easy tutorial to get you started, to show you that you can create a product that doesn't have any graphics associated with it, then you can do this, right? There's photo products on Zazzle. Zazzle's all about customization. And so this is why I chose to create this intentional product. There's a huge market for pet lovers or dog lovers on Zazzle, and a huge market for pillows within that niche. Okay.
So Jen's done her research, and she's also picked a very popular niche, i.e. pet lovers. And so she's done her homework, so to speak. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so because I have multiple different layers on here, then you can see I have these, it's kind of like a Photoshop program, or not particularly Canva, because Canva doesn't show layers, but here's where you can drag and drop your layers. So for example, for whatever reason, if I actually needed the text to be underneath the photo, then I would drag it here. If I wanted to reverse that, then I can drag and drop there. Okay. And so this is where you will manipulate your layers and just see them as a whole on your sheet here, or on this little drop down. Once you add another layer, it will come up here. So I'm going to select I'm just going to hide my text for the moment so that I can work on my image. I want to crop this image so that I can have this whole image fill in the pillow, because I'm going to make it a template. So first of all, I'm going to click fill, and that just blows the image up. And I'm going to zoom out. And what I'm going to do is position my dog to be where I want it to be. And then I'm going to do crop, and you can do a freeform crop. And so I'm going to crop my image so that it actually is where I want it to be within that print line. And I'm just going to click out of that. So now when somebody clicks on this image and replaces it for their own, it will fit in within this square, because if I had that image where it wasn't cropped and half of it was over top of here and half of it was over top of here, it's going to fill in their own image for that space. And imagine they had a picture of a dog that was further away or closer up, and so it's going to get distorted. So I want to make sure that where the bleed lines are is where the edge or the end of my image goes. Okay. Next is I'm going to click on this once again, because we haven't finished with it yet. I need to make this a template object, which means that people are asked to change this photo for their own. So I'm going to go into selling options, and I'm going to scroll down here at the bottom and say, make this template object. Make this a template object. And then here I can change the product label. So I can say, put your photo here. Do not touch this, because this is part of their algorithm and their parameters for templates. So if you by accident delete the word image, if you change the number, do anything to this, then the whole system will break for this template. So just leave that alone, okay? But you can change the product label. All right, so then now I've done that and everything is good with my photo. Now I want to add back my text. So go back to my layers and then show my text. And what I want to do is actually position my text maybe here. And then I'm going to change the font type. I'm going to go and change it to this one. And then I'm going to just make it bigger, okay? I'm going to maybe make it 140 here. Which text did I wanted to choose that one, actually. 160.
And all of these fonts that Jen's using are fonts that Zazzle has the copyright licenses for, so you can use them as well without worrying about copyright commercial use licenses. And it's not just the drop-down menu, that's just the popular, but there's also like so many other options there that are all categorized. And I think it's over 100 different font styles now.
Yeah. So you can click on serif, you can click on all of these, and it will come up with different types of styles of fonts, okay? And all of these you can use, depending obviously on what the feel is of the product that you want to create. So now I have this text, okay? And I obviously need to make this also into a template, because this is not going to be the person's dog's name. I mean, Charlie is a very common dog name, but it's not everyone's dog's name. So we need to make this a template as well. If you're creating, and this is a very simple text template, so it's one name or one word. So I don't have to worry too much about my text bounding box, but I also want to make sure that everyone knows that this pink area is where the text will populate within, okay? And so that means that if they have a longer name than Charlie, maybe it's Charlie whatever, or hyphenated something like Stephanie Ann, I have no idea, but maybe there's a longer name, then they're going to put their name in, and it's going to fill this entire text box up. And that way they have enough room to go from one edge to the other, and it's going to stay on that same line. If I had my box this small, just to fit the word Charlie in, and I put it in the middle, then unfortunately, if they had a longer name than Charlie, it's going to start bumping down. So this box here will grow, but it will grow downwards and actually go over top of the dog's name. And I'll show you what I mean here. So Charlie, let's just, for the purpose of this tutorial, do Charlie here. So if his name was Charlie, even if I didn't put it on another line and it was straight across in the edit your text box button, because it's on the small space, it's going to bump it down, okay? Then if you had your text bounding box this way and this way, you can see that Charlie now fits in. And the reason why it's all on one line is because it's one line here. If somebody did this, then it would bump it down because it's creating another paragraph, so to speak. But if they were to just write in their dog's name on one line, then it would fit in, okay? So we're going to make sure that your text box is large enough so that it can fill in the space that's necessary. If I had some sort of design over here, or I had, something over here, and maybe I wanted it to really just only fit in like this area here, then I could play around with that, and I could change my text bounding box to be something like this. And then I would maybe left justify it so that there's still room over here to fit in. Okay. But I like to give the customer the most amount of space possible, because you have no idea what they're going to choose and change. Okay.
So now, before you get to the template part, the reason we're working on this so detailed is because that's what Zazzle is. It's all about customization. And even though Printful or Printify is starting to get into that, it is so rudimentary. And here you get the chance to use Zazzle in such a sophisticated way that just far exceeds any possible way that you can create customization for your products that you're listing on Etsy that are using, I forget now if it's Printful or Printify, but one of those is starting to do some of this customization, but it's so rudimentary. It's like when Zazzle was starting in 2005. So this is why we love Zazzle, because you can be so accurate with your typesetting, with your placement of images that they have to replace. And it really works well for not just these evergreen products, and Jen also is doing an evergreen product here, but also for invitations and stationery and business cards. And it just opens up this entire world that you could never sell to through your Etsy store. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. So now that we have that done, explanation, once again, you're going to go to selling options, scroll all the way down here, make this a template object. And once again, you can change the label, your dog's name here. Okay. And then that's done. Now, because we have because I chose a pillow and it has a front and a back, what I recommend, and this is also some information that you can take away for other products that have a front and the back that you want to have be the exact same. And I want it to, excuse me. Oh, that came out of nowhere. Excuse me. I can have my background be a specific color if I wanted to. So I can just make it pink, or I can make it black or white, whatever I wanted to. I can make that color of the pillow. Okay. And I can have that as my background. But what I want to do to show you an extra little tip and advice is something that not everybody knows, is that once you set your templates on the front, and now we know that they can change their picture and change their name, what I can do is actually copy these layers. So I'm going to select both this and this, I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to go to my back and I'm going to paste. Now I have the front and back the exact same. And I'll show you in a minute with the customization options is that when somebody then goes onto the product to customize it, they're only going to have one name that they need to change and one photo that they need to change. And it's going to automatically change the front and the back all at the same time. Okay. But you have to make sure, this is very, very important. You have to make sure that your original that you're copying is what you is all set up properly, and also is what you want on the back. Because I've changed because I've copied the templates over, then that means that if I change the name on the back now, let's say for whatever reason, and this obviously doesn't make sense, but for whatever reason, I wanted to now say this as a different dog's name. So let's say Fenway.
Or just even an expression on the back.
Or an expression on the back, like woof woof or whatever, then you can see already on the front it's changed it to woof. Okay, so if you didn't want that to happen, then what you would have to do, but let's say you didn't want that to happen, but you wanted to have the same positioning of the photo, for example, or whatever it may be, then you're going to have to delete that text or delete that photo. Or what I'm going to do is change this back to Charlie. Is that, or once it's on the back, then you can click on that text box and then go to the selling options and say, okay, I actually don't want this to be a template anymore. Because you can see that on this template, it says text number 1 is the parameter. We go to the front image here, it says text number 1 as the parameter here. And so both of them are tied together. Okay. And so I've had so many people copy and paste templates and then try to change the text. And this one lady in one of our courses recently, Elke and I had to help her out and figure it out, is that she was creating a wedding invitation or a birthday invitation, whatever it may be, but it had a lot of text on the invitation. And she copied the original template and then pasted it so that the information or the address or the venue or the bride and groom's names, they were all part of that same template. And every time she tried to change the text, the entire invitation changed and was all the same text. Okay.
So yeah, the lesson is only add the templates at the end when you're done. Yes.
At the end when you're done, and then have the front, like for example, the reason why I was able to do it on the front and the back was because I already determined that I want the front to be the exact same as the back. But that's specifically for a pillow. Okay. If it comes to anything else that doesn't have that sort of nuance that you want the front to be exactly like the back, make sure you have all your text in your product or all your images in your product, and then go in and create the templates afterwards. Okay. Like have your whole design planned out and then create your templates. Okay.
Absolutely valuable. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the next thing is you're going to click on the next. It's going to take you through these steps. So we were on the front here. It's going to make you double check the back and, say, okay, do you want to design on the back? Since I've already done that on my own, then I don't need to do anything with this page here. Then I'm going to go to the next. It's going to take me over to that toggle here that says options. So this is where, first of all, you can choose which cover photo you want to be showcased when you have your product in the marketplace. You can clearly upload your own afterwards. I'm not going to go into that detail on how to do that in this tutorial, but you can create a cover photo or a mock-up photo for your product afterwards, and you can upload it to your product listing. But Zazzle offers some really great ones for different product types. Obviously, because we have a pillow, it's showcasing it on furniture and or on a blanket. So you can choose which one you want, or you just have the original one to showcase it like this. Okay. But once you click on this image, then that's what's going to show up as your product listing. Okay. That's very important. Here, I'm going to double check what I chose. And yeah, I want the polyester. I don't want the lumber, anything else. This was at the beginning when you first chose your product. So it's double checking, and it's allowing you to change your posting option if you wanted to, for whatever reason, choose to change it to a different style at the last moment. Then you're going to go to review, and this is where it's going to say, okay, double check everything. Make sure that you have your templates proper. Make sure that your objects are within the bleed lines. discard any unused layers. Like some people, for whatever reason, I've seen double layers of text or things that they've hidden, and then they've actually decided not to post it for sale with those hidden images or text layers. So when somebody goes into the edit option, they can see all of these hidden layers and it's not even part of the original design. Make sure it looks clean, okay? Because you want to make it the easiest as possible for the customer buying experience.
So
If you
one more question before we get there. So how do you go back? So go and show them the design toggle at the top.
Oh,
And
right.
I want to double check. Did you actually make the back a template now, or did you take the template off the back?
Right. Okay. So if I have second guessed something, or if I'm wanting to go and check everything correctly again, what I can do is go to this design toggle here and it will take me back to the design tool. I don't click that back button on your browser. Okay. You can also click the back button here, but it's going to take you through all the options and stuff. The easiest way to do that is just click the design toggle. Don't click your back button on your actual browser, because it's going to take you then to the original product page and you're going to have to go through these steps again. Okay.
Yeah.
So now I'm on the product page again. And so if I want to double check, okay, click on selling options. Okay. This is a template. Wonderful. Okay. Now my text, this is a template. Wonderful. Now I go on to my back. My text is a template and my photo is a template. So everything looks correct. Okay.
Good. Yeah.
And I don't know, for whatever reason, I got now a product label. Put your dog here. Put your here. Why did it not say that? That was interesting.
And Jen keeps showing you that you could put something there, but we're going to just let you know that Zazzle's sort of halfway not showing those anymore, and it may not be necessary to write something in there.
I've seen, yeah, it's weird because I've seen products that do have it and I've seen products that don't have it. So, and I don't know if that's part of the beta testing or whatnot. When Zazzle first released the customer side of things, that is the advanced version, they didn't have it, but I actually have seen products with the new version that now does have it. So, but irrespective, like people, as long as you kind of give them an idea of what's supposed to be changed here, like this is clearly a dog photo and a dog name. Okay. So I would say you've given them already information that translates to their brain that they have to upload their own photo and they have to change it for their dog's name. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So all the way back now, and then now I'm at the sell button. I've double checked everything. For whatever reason, if you make a product and you personally want to buy it, you can actually buy it right here. You can buy it off of that toggle, but this is where you're going to be posting that button for sale and clicking this that says sell it here. Once we get to that sell it button, and I'm going to just click on this here. Once we get to that sell it button, then this page is going to show up, okay? And it says post your product for sale. And I've already filled in all this information because if I were to do this on live, then I would probably make some spelling mistakes or take a really long time. So just so you know, this isn't auto-populated, okay? You have to put this information in and you have to put in your title, your tag, you have to choose your categories, the market placement, all of that. So what I've done is I've put in my title and this will be blank once you get here. So pet, simple, elegant, modern photo, it's going to auto-populate the name of the product. So once again, you can see that I've ended with the word photo. If I put in the word pillow here, then it's going to actually mess up the algorithm because you can see that because the word pillow is in there, it's recognizing that there's something that clicks, but it's not 100% true, because if I remove that word pillow, you can see that it's actually called a throw pillow, okay? So don't put in the product name, just end the title with everything that's just the describing words that you want to use. Your title is very important because it's part of your SEO. So think about the color choices, think about what the product looks like. Elke and I always say to our clients or students, think about the fact that you're on the phone with somebody, they can't see something that's in your hand and you're trying to describe it to them. So does it have a photo on it? Does it have text? Is it a colorful thing? Does it have a pattern? Does it have a theme associated? Is it a graduation item? Is it a baby shower item? Like the words baby shower, graduation, wedding, those all need to be included in your title because Zazzle doesn't post, like auto-populate that. If you make an invitation, that invitation could be for wedding, baby shower, St. Patrick's Day, birthday. And so those words as well need to be put into your title so that they can be categorized properly. Once those words are put in, then Zazzle will automatically generate certain department placements for you. So they have 2 suggested departments, and this is what will show up because I put in my title. And I've decided, obviously, I want this one here, but it could also go into the nursery and kids room home decor. This is internally for Zazzle's marketplace organization. This has nothing to do with your actual store. Okay, so Zazzle will auto-generate certain marketplace categories for you depending on your product. So this will be completely different if, for example, you were making a birthday card. Okay. Then you're going to add in your description. I've just put in a really quick one. I like to grab my title, and then I also like to tell the people you can customize your photo and text, anything that they need to do, instructions for the product. Here's where you can be very elaborate with certain keywords. Talk about, using this as home decor. This is for a dog lover or a pet lover. Would look perfect on your living room couch. Like anything that you want to do to sort of describe the actual like thing that it's going to do, that emotional connection that somebody's going to feel once they buy this product. Okay. I just made mine very simple because I didn't want to put in a huge one, but you can definitely make it bigger than that. Then you can see that I have the product merchandising because I clicked on that plain image right at the last moment before I changed the tab over. You can see that that translated over. This is where you can sell on all the different options. I don't like to uncheck this because if I want somebody to have the choice of selling on the square pillow or the lumbar pillow or whatever it may be, they should have all the options available. Okay, so that you don't need to change that at all. Then we get to categories. So this is still on the Zazzle side of things. So you're going to choose a category. I've already chosen mine. So you can see that I have it under other and everyday events. But if I were to do that, then what happens here is that I get to this main home feed where I can choose any of these. And then there's also subcategories within these, right? So if I were to go to Christmas or even other occasions, if we went down to weddings, for example, there's different things that are associated with weddings, depending on how far that department tree or category goes down. But for this purpose of this tutorial, I just did other and then everyday events. Okay. And then I stopped there. Even though there's a subcategory here, I don't need to choose that. You don't have to go as far as Zazzle offers you to go. Then the recipient is also on the Zazzle side of things. This is for internal marketing, and they do some promos. And especially like if you were to see at the top here, the create your own, when it says gifts and occasions, we have gifts for her, gifts for him, gifts under $20, $50. So this is just more for their categorization, for the main homepage. And if there were to do any marketing deals for Valentine's Day or for Father's Day, etc. So it's not too important because this is for anyone. Yeah, I said anyone. For if it was very, very specific because it was, let's say, a Mother's Day gift, then you would obviously change this and you would say for her, and then you would say mother here, for example. Okay. So that's how detailed you can be when it comes to a very specific design. This last one here, store category, this is your own store association. So you need to have categories in your store. If you don't have categories in your store because you're brand new and you just open your store, you can actually create categories here where you say you create a new category and then you can have the category name. I've already changed and chosen my category. It says home decor. And then this is where if you had multiple stores, which I don't recommend, you can toggle down and see all the different stores that you have, and you can choose which store to put it in. Obviously, when you change your store, you're going to have to, like, the category will change as well because those categories are only associated with the store name that you have selected. Okay. Here you can add it to a collection. I have not created a collection for this yet, and I'm not going to dive deep into how to create a collection and what the purposes of each collection are because it's very dependent on what you're creating. But there are multiple different types of collections that you can do to have people browse a selection of similar products and or have a collection that is more specific to somebody who wants to buy matching products. And so you have collections that have products that are not the same type, but they all have a specific theme or design that's associated with them. And it's like intentionally made because you want somebody to buy multiple different product types all in one big bulk order. Okay. For example,
we don't need to put it in a collection at the beginning when you're first posting.
No. Yeah. You don't need to put it in a collection when you're first posting. Okay. And it wouldn't even make sense for me to put it in a collection right now because I don't have any other products that are like this. So once you first start out and start curating your product inventory, then you can go back and start to group them into collections. The next thing here are tags. And so this is something that you want to try and really think about in terms of what people are literally searching for. Like, and I like to associate this with, if you were on Google and you wanted to find an easy chicken recipe for dinner, what are the words that you're going to put in? And you're going to put in 15-minute chicken Parmesan dinner recipe. Okay. Super specific, but it gets you the results that you want. Okay. And so understanding that is that you're going to use the translation of how you more or less would search on Google or how someone would search on Zazzle to find a specific product. This one's a little bit more generic because it's just a photo and a text template product. But if you had a product that had polka dots on it, or it was a red product, or it had leopard print, or if it was a specific birthday for like a sweet 16, you would put those keywords into these tags so that people would be able to find it. Okay. Describing literally, like I said, somebody on the phone with you and you're trying to describe what it looks like. Is it glittery? Is it pink? Is it abstract? Is it gothic? Is it, whatever it may be. You can add long tail keywords and short tail keywords. So a long tail, like if you were just to put in one word. So for example, hello, that's a word. If you wanted to say two words together. So like, for example, and these tags are not relevant to this product, but I'm just saying, for example, happy birthday, then you would put it in quotation marks, okay? And then it adds it all in one tag. You have 10 tags that you can use, but you have up to 500 characters, which means that the amount of letters within your tags you can use, okay? So you can have really long tail keywords.
And the reason you're doing this is for your listing searchability, okay? So, and that's where you're going to do a lot of testing to see whether you get views on your listing or not, is just to see what you've got in your tags and in your title.
Yeah. Then we get to the additional information. So this is the audience. I highly recommend that you always, not always click this button, because if you haven't created a product that complies with the guidelines, then you're not able to, but make content that is suitable and searchable for the G-related content. So, generic, there's no PG-13 or R-rated content. Because once you click these buttons here, then you're in a completely different search on Zazzle, and you actually have to go through some security measures as a potential customer to get to that content. I had a client of mine, well, Elke and I, when I say that, like, it's obviously the both of us. Elke and I had a client of ours way back when who was doing something related to pole dancing. And it was all like humorous and stuff like that. Like, it wasn't very intense, but because she had those words in there, she had to put it underneath the R-rated content, and her products weren't publicly put into the marketplace. Someone would have to literally log into Zazzle and prove that they're over the age of 18 to see that. So make content that's suitable for everybody so that you're in the marketplace, searchable in the public eye. Then this is the product visibility. Always make sure that it is public, unless for whatever reason you want to hide it, which I don't recommend. I mean, unless you're making it just for your own fun or your own purposes. Maybe you're making your own products to order yourself, but make it public. This direct only is so that it is a link that's clickable by someone if you send it to them, okay? If, for example, you are making a customized product for a friend, or if somebody contacted you through the marketplace, through the chat, and said, I really like this product, but I would like you personally as the designer to customize it for me. So, and here's all my information. So for example, I like to bring it to either a wedding or a birthday card. If somebody asks you to design their wedding information or wedding invitation with their personal information, like the proper venue, phone numbers, RSVP, the bride's names, and groom's names, you're obviously not going to use that information and post that product for sale publicly, because it's their own information, okay? And so that's the only time that you would do a direct only, because if you would do hidden, then even if you sent them the link, they wouldn't be able to see it. This means that it's not publicly viewable. It's like if you were to post a private video on YouTube, people can still see it if they have the link, but not everybody can search for it, okay? Next one is the show with a customize it button. Always yes, because obviously since you've created a product that has templates and you're asking them to basically customize it, then you want to have that clicked. This is where we get to the bottom of the page and we're on the royalty information now. And so we suggest setting it at 10%. There is some information that you can look up with regards to Zazzle's new ambassador program. We have made a video on our YouTube channel about that. I'm not going to dive too deep into all the nitty-gritty details, but basically in 2025, they switched how the royalties are kind of set up and how much money you get from a certain type of product, depending on what type of department it's in or the product type it's in. So setting your royalty at 10%, more or less you will get the 10% ratio, but you will probably get a little bit less because there are some fees associated with if you referred it or did not refer it and Zazzle marketed it. Okay. But 10% is sort of the normal rate. You can go up to whatever you want. And me being the silly person I was when I was younger, I was like, oh, I want 100% of the royalty. I want to make 100% of $35. Doesn't work that way. If I make it at 35%, first of all, it's not going to let me go up to 100. But if I made it 50, then you can see my pillow is going to be double the price. Okay. So although I'm making more money, obviously somebody's not going to buy a pillow for $60 unless it's, hand embroidered. Okay, so you can go up to 15% if you would like to, but you can see that there's an excess royalty fee after you hit the after over 14%. Okay, so, or sorry, where is that?
10%.
10%, sorry. So if we even go to 11, then you can see that there's an excess royalty fee.
It used to be 14.99, but now it's 10%.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's not a lot. And we wanted to make sure that you're not discouraged by that because you still can make, like Jen and I, we made our money with third-party sales, as it's called, where we didn't refer a lot. We just sold a lot of volume on the marketplace, even whether it was 10% or 5% or whatever. So don't be discouraged. You're paying Zazzle to do all the marketing, advertising, customer service, and that's one of the things we talked about at the beginning. And Jen didn't even mention that. There's so many advantages. A lot of people get caught up in doing all the customer service for their Etsy client base, and we don't do customer service. Zazzle does that, and so we're not focused on that. We don't spend money on ads, and so we love it that some people have a big mindset issue with how low the percentage is, but just do your job and get more products out there that sell, and then you can make the money that you're expecting. Plus, what we like and what we're doing more and more of is doing what's called referrals, which is basically affiliate marketing, but you're marketing your own product so that if you bring the traffic in, you can get up to 50%, just like what Jen wanted to do by raising a royalty. You can do that by just generating the traffic to bring the traffic to Zazzle. And so it's very lucrative, which is really, really nice because you still don't have any other costs besides that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, last but not least,
agree to the agreement. And then
yes. So agree to that. And then you're going to say post it for sale. And so we're going to post this for sale now. And you can see that says, congratulations, your product is available for sale. If you don't see it immediately, then it can take up to 24 hours in the search results. That being said, this link is live. And so when I click on this link now, I can actually see this product, and it's posted by Pretty Print Studio, and this is now in my store, and it can be bought by anybody. If you can't see it for whatever reason in your store when you go into your back end or even your front end, it might just take some time, okay? So the product listing, but it is a clickable link, and now you can even send this to your friends and your family, and this is now in your store, and congratulations, you made your first product and posted it for sale. And we're just so proud of you.
Yes. And that part where you took some time to put all the information in, that becomes a lot quicker as you get better at it. So the first time around, it's a lot. But after that, you realize, oh, it's actually not that bad. I get this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And so that brings us to the end, is that you've now gotten the steps to open up your Zazzle account, your Zazzle store. You've learned how to do some research, and then you've also posted your first product for sale. Okay. This is not the end and be all. We've spent over an hour together, and thank you so much for watching this little mini course. But you can tell that even within an hour, we have covered just the tip of the iceberg, because now we have to talk about collections, we have to talk about store categories and organization, we have to talk about which products to post for sale, and a lot more that goes into how to actually take this idea and concept of starting a print-on-demand store in 2026 and actually implement it and make sure that you have a proven path and a plan, so that you're not just flailing in the wind. Okay. Because this is how to start it. How to succeed or create a power selling Zazzle store is different. We need to have a lot more components. And that's where the 5 strategies come in our Profit by Design Academy experience. And once, just so that I want to let everyone know, we can never guarantee any income results. Okay. And so when we say that we give you the proven plan, it is the plan. It does work. We have students that are making upwards of $100,000 a year on the Zazzle platform. Obviously, they didn't just start yesterday. They've been implementing the 5 strategies over time and worked on their store and took it very diligently in terms of following these 5 strategies that we speak about in our Profit by Design Academy experience. But there's no reason to say that you cannot make a successful Zazzle store, right? It's all just about your dedication and understanding the process that needs to go through in it, right? And be implemented, so that you're not just doing it on your own. Elke and I, we didn't succeed in our first year on Zazzle, and we had no idea what we were doing. And then Elke decided that she wanted to make this work. She realized what was working and what wasn't working in her store. And then that's where she created the 5 strategies, which we now teach and have been, perfected and transformed and translated into what we now teach as the 5 strategies now in 2026. Those 5 strategies were created in 2009, probably 2010. And we live by them, we breathe by them, and that is the repetitive process that we've told our clients over the last X amount of years that we've been coaching, since 2017. And no matter at what point in your Zazzle journey you're at, whether you're a complete beginner and maybe you're watching this video and then you're going to jump off this video and open up your first store right now and post your first product, or if you're watching this video randomly and you've forgotten about Zazzle, but you had an account and you've opened it a couple of years ago, or maybe you're on Zazzle and struggling and you're like, I'm just not getting results, but I'm putting in all this work. Or maybe you're on Zazzle and you're seeing some results, but you want those results to be better. Whatever step you are at on your Zazzle journey, the Profit by Design Academy experience is for you, because it's so dynamic and it's the best version yet. We have PDA alumni who took previous course versions of the Profit by Design Academy experience, come back into our experience now and said, this is amazing and I absolutely love it. And I've learned so much, even though I've been with you for X amount of years. And it's just amazing. It's awesome. Transformation has been incredible, and I can't believe what I learned in this Profit by Design Academy experience. So enrollment is now open, and you can click the link in the description below. We would love to have you in the PDA experience. And at the time of this recording, in addition to the course material that is in the 5 strategies within the PDA, which is self-study but lifetime access, we are going through the entire month of April with you to help you create 100 products and review those 100 products, so that by the end of April, beginning of May, you will have 100 products in your store that are already intentionally researched and done for you. We have examples for you. We have all the instructions. It's pretty much like a no-brainer on how to create those designs. And you'll be really surprised by the fact that you've created 100 products within a month.
Evergreen products that are consistently selling, but you have to make them sell too. Yes.
Yes. So click the link in the description below. We would love to see you in the Profit by Design Academy experience. If you are watching this video and it's no longer in enrollment, then we will potentially have another enrollment sometime coming soon. But just know at the time of this recording, which is March, we are opening for enrollment for the Profit by Design Academy, and we can't wait to see you in the experience. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you there. Bye.
Bye.